When he tasered me, he laughed. What kind of jerk laughs when you put 20,000 volts down somebody's?
New at 11, a shocking twist after a man's run-in with the law in Romulus. He found himself on the receiving end of a stun gun, and it triggered a controversy that's taking a turn you might never have expected. 7 Action News reporters Kim Russell and Jim Kurtzner teamed up for this story, and Jim filed this report. Take a look.
To hear Paul Blankenbaker tell the story, this is where it all began, on the porch of his home in Romulus. Cops rolled out of nowhere saying Paul had just broken a window at a nearby restaurant.
I was not the guy. I was home here. She thought I was sleeping, but I just ran out to check the mail.
It was a case of mistaken identity, Paul says. Nevertheless, his next stop was here, a Romulus jail cell, where his day went from bad to worse. And it was all over an unlit half cigarette Paul brought with him.
I had that little piece of cigarette, and I wasn't trying to start no hassles or nothing.
But as surveillance video obtained by Action News shows, it turned into a big problem when a police sergeant appeared in the cell.
He kept telling me to drop what's in my hand, drop what's in my hand. He kept saying he was going to tase me, but for what? I wasn't even doing anything. Before I could even let it out of my hand, he pulls the trigger, and I'm bare-skinned, and they burned holes in my stomach.
Indeed, as Paul shows the wounds, he says he's scarred in other ways, with memories of the moment still raw.
And when he tasered me, he laughed. What kind of jerk laughs when you put 20,000 volts down somebody's?
I bet the next thing you're thinking as you watch this story is lawsuit, and you're right, but it's not what you think. It's the taser cop suing, and he's going after his own department.
He was acting in accordance with how he was trained.
Attorney Brian Contry represents the cop. He was demoted from sergeant to officer after the tasing incident, but Contry says the demotion was retaliation for race discrimination, a suit he won against the department. On top of that, he says Romulus police have not been told when taser use is appropriate.
It seems that the department needs to do some training, and fast. This whole situation transpired back in October, and here we are in February, and they still haven't done the training.
Give me a break, says Romulus City Attorney John Clark. The taser policy is in writing, he points out, and all police should know it.
The policy provides in part that a taser can be used if a suspect is threatening to himself, threatening to the police officer, or to a third party. That clearly was not the circumstance here. This gentleman was in the holding cell by himself. He was not armed, and therefore he was not a threat to himself, to the officer, or to anybody else.
As for Paul, yes, there are still plenty of hard feelings, but just aimed at the one who pulled the trigger.
Man, when you see a cop, they're not all bad, so don't think that they are. And give them a break, man, because you won't believe what they see every day.